And if I go to South Korea, the money will fall down like from the sky.
Like rain,
So that was my impression.
like snow.
like snow, and I thought. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Eunhee Park, and I escaped from North Korea for freedom. So today there is someone you saw in the previous video. So please introduce yourself.
Sure, yeah. Hi guys, I am also from North Korea, and I came to South Korea for food. For food and freedom as well. Thank you. Thank you for being here again.
Yeah, thank you for, taking my request to be here to share your story.
You know what? It's my pleasure. Yeah, always.
Thank you very much. As you might know, we cannot call my family members left in North Korea, and there is no internet, so we cannot make a social media friends with my North Korean friends who live in North Korea. Emotionally, we are devastated, and there is nothing to happen yet about reunification, right? As a North Korean defector, if there is someone asked me, what if there is a chance if you would have the superpower, what would you want to change in this world? So I really want to change that, North Korea as a free state, and give the basic freedom to my people. So it means reunification. So today we are gonna talking about what we think of reunification and what our opinions are. When you were in North Korea, did you ever think about reunification?
Sure. Yeah. You know what? The regime always told us that we should be unified, South Korea and North Korea. But the way of unification was different, because they say that they have to make South Korea free, which was kind of ridiculous, because where is not free is North Korea, and South Korea is a free state, right? But I was brainwashed to believe that North Korea was free state and South Korea was not. So if we are unified again, which means we make South Korea free, which was lie.
We learned about reunification, and we always think about the reunification. And one thing that I want to mention that is very important for me, because my grandfather, as I told you in the previous video, my grandfather was born in South Korea. And since I was 5 years old, he brought the newspaper, and there is the lyrics and songs of reunification. And he started teaching me that song, and I still remember. And he said, I really wanna go to my hometown before I die. But he never back to hometown. He was in heaven now. He passed away when I escaped in 2012.
Sorry for his dream never came true.
But I'm in South Korea, and where my grandfather was born. So that's why I really want to make this happen of reunification to other people. It's not only my story, it's other North Koreans' story too.
That is right. Yeah. There are a lot of people who left their family in North Korea and in South Korea. So yeah, they cannot meet. Yeah.
Okay, so now, what was your impression of South Korea back then?
back then.
When you are in North Korea, the
For-
impression.
Per country, yeah.
Okay.
Which country that we have to help?
We have to support.
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of, like the textbook in North Korea, there's also a page that tells us there was a car, the car with full of rice, and the car was going to South Korea, and the car was explained. The car is going to South Korea to help South Koreans. Yeah.
South Korean children, South
Yeah.
Korean friends. I vividly remember what I learned about that part. And for me, I can say I have different impression of North Korea based on my years. So when I was young, you left when you are 13 or 14 years old, but I left when I was 21 years old. But when I was 13, 14 years old, I had the same exactly that impression
Yeah.
what you had. But when I was maybe 17 and 18, my impression of South Korea was completely different what I had from the age of 13 because I started watching South Korean dramas and my grandparents visited in South Korea several times and they told me that South Korea is the way of life it's much better than China and China is better than North Korea. So I got the impression of South Korea is wealthy country. And if I go to South Korea, the money will fall down like from the sky.
Like rain,
So that was my impression.
like snow.
Like many people from outside of North Korea think North Korean people got brainwashed. So like what percentage of North Koreans think about reunification?
In North Korea, maybe all people.
Why? Could you?
You know what? Because one thing in South Korea, I thought when I came to South Korea, I thought all people in South Korea want to unification, but it's not. Yeah, because some people want to unification and some people they don't want to unification. But in North Korea, all people want to unification because it's a dictatorship. They live under the dictatorship and they should think same as the North Korean regime teaches. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The regime tell people we should unificate again.
So you mean is their purpose of reunification based on what government say to them? Actually, I believe I also same way to think what you thought about reunification. 100% of North Koreans are believed that we have to unify between the North and South based on the North Korean government. But what if there are some elites at the top of North Korea? Maybe they really wanna enjoy their authority. So next question is, it's very interesting, and I just very wonder. Do you talk about that topic, the reunification topic, with your South Korean friends, and what their opinions?
It depends. Some people they want to unification and some people they don't. But a lot of friends they want unification. Yeah, because when I talk about my hometown to them, they think, you should go to your hometown someday because hometown is something precious in my life, right? So they think someday unification will be
Make you meet your friends.
That's right.
And,
Yeah.
that
They think unification should
happen to your life, so you can meet your friends and you can
Exactly.
enjoy
Yeah.
the life of what your friends enjoy in South Korea.
Sure.
According to the statistics of 2018 about reunification, it's like the percentage of reunification supporters started like declining. So from like 60 or 65% and now maybe 53%, and especially young generation.
That's right. Yeah.
The young generation doesn't want, and even they don't care about reunification.
Because they some people they think unification is kind of a burden to them. Yeah. So you know, if they should if unification happens at in their life, they think they should pay more.
Yeah, right. Economically, they damage
That's right, yeah.
their lives, and because of that reason, many young people are just against that idea of reunification. Because I can completely understand why they think that way of reunification.
Sure.
And some young people consider that we are not one people anymore. Why we have to be unified?
Yeah.
There is nothing connection to be one people for young generation. That's why they don't think of that way of reunification, what we think and what like other people think about in South Korea.
Which is understandable,
Yeah.
because you are thinking, yeah, you know what, having the freedom to think differently, actually it's an opportunity.
That's a very good,
to
good
live,
point.
to live in like a freedom state, like South Korea.
Oh, I really like that statement you mentioned. Like how different thinking is the core of life of capitalism and free country.
Don't delete this part.
I really like what you said. Oh my god, I'm so happy that I heard that statement. And one thing that I'm really struggling in the reality sometimes, the response of the South Korean people said to North Korean defectors, just go back to your country. Like, what do you feel when you heard this, very it's for me it's very emotional, and it's like I'm a little bit upset. I feel that same as go back to North Korea, same as meaning of just die. But some people said that because of they think we just got helped by the government and we live based on their taxes. But actually, as a North Korean defector, when we earn money, we also pay tax. But they don't think that way we pay tax. They always think that people who always need hands from South Koreans. That's why they said they are in miserable life. They think like our benefits taken away from North Korean defectors.
You know what? Speaking of taxes, I also pay tax because I'm working.
Me too. I pay tax too in this country.
Yeah, so I'm a worker and now I'm taking this video after work. I never heard of, some people told me that you should go back to North Korea, but I read some comments on the internet. Yeah. I read some articles about North Korea and North Korean refugees in South Korea, and some people leave comments that if you feel difficult to live in South Korea, you should go back to North Korea because they like to compare South Korea to North Korea, but it's kind of ridiculous,
Yeah, right.
We cannot compare South Korea to North Korea because it's totally different. Yeah.
I just wanna say that I hope you were born in North Korea.
So those kinds of comments make me hurt.
Yeah,
But
heartbroken.
feel hurt. But I also respect that kind of comment because okay, you can leave that kind of comment. Yeah.
I think It's the same for me when I heard that go back. Like I read some comments of from the Korean channel. Some commenters left that comment as just go back to North Korea. Don't say anything about South Korea because you don't deserve to say it. Like if you are born in North Korea, just you should live there. And one comment is that I really don't forgive it is if you know about the freedom, why don't you go back to North Korea and fight for freedom?
Mm-hmm.
And what my response is, like when you build your business, when you run your business, there are also many factors to run your business. There are external resources and internal resources, and you need your strategy. But no, now I know my freedom and I know the concept of freedom. But if the external environment doesn't support my idea, how can I make my business? How can I build my goal? Like I was just so upset.
Right. Yeah.
So that is our reality, and that's why many people, because of that negative positive of image for North Korean defectors, so it caused many North Korean defectors not to reveal their identity as a North Korean defector because they don't want to be criticized by South Korean people. If you think about the reunification objectively, not like the side of North Korea and South Korea, what would be the disadvantage and what kind of negative effects of reunification?
Disadvantage? I think actually I am in favor of unification.
Me too.
Because it brings a lot of things, like peace, But if I think about negative effect of it, I will think some conflict between South Koreans and North Koreans. Yeah. Although we are one ethnic, one race or one people, but we have been separated for 7 decades, right? Which means we have living with different culture. So when unification happens at the first time, maybe some people have difficulty to understand each other.
Okay.
But it's a small problem, right?
Because it's understandable. It's understandable.
Yeah, we can take time to understand each other after unification.
Yeah. If I add something as because of the division of 70 years or 70 years of South Korea and North Korea, we have exposed in different environments. So people work together, like South Koreans and North Koreans might fight a lot because the main reason is that South Korean people live based on law. But in North Korea, there is they have law, but Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and dictators' statement is more powerful than the mentioned law in North Korea.
Yeah.
And ordinary people's life are going on with many bribes and many collapsing way of to live with the the authorities. And even though they're in North Korea, if someone killed the other human being, if you have money, it will be released from the sentence and from the criminal reason. That is the North Korea. So people in North Korea cannot adjust with the country of name of the Democratic Party of South Korea. And because of the different language created in South Korea, North Koreans never gonna understand. So when I was in South Korea, it was so difficult to adjust with the new languages South Koreans created and which accepted the English words, the Konglish words.
Yeah.
So we cannot belong together. I think what is the best way to belong together is just open the country as individual countries and just step by step.
Yeah.
Firstly, as a North Korean defector, what is my best advantage of reunification is I don't need to face my life again to go back to North Korea, because I can freely travel and I can freely take an airplane to land in my hometown to see my friends, to see my family members, but I don't know when it's gonna happen. That is my first advantage of reunification as a North Korean defector. And second one, there are lots of undiscovered land, discovered industry in North Korea. In South Korea, it's packed with businesses. So many people are struggling to find a job, but what if there happens a reunification in Korean Peninsula? Maybe people find their job and the business industry will be expanded. So that is my second advantage. Of course, there are lots of conflicts besides conflicts, but there are also many ways we can develop our lives more. Today, we talked about the opinions of reunification as North Korean defectors. So please subscribe if you don't subscribe yet and support my channel. And please support James's channel. I will just put in the link so you can check it out and support it and subscribe it and leave comments. And hey, I came across your channel and I will be your supporter. It means a lot to him and also it means a lot to me. Thank you for your time to watch my video. Take care, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.